Jet car junkies, get ready, get set. It's jet car time from Raceway Park, Aldrich Township, New Jersey. If you like fire, you like smoke, you like flame, you like race cars that go 290 miles per hour, you take a jet engine out of an aircraft. You put it in a race car chassis, you put a body over it, you put a person inside, and that person goes from the starting line to the finish line in less than 6 seconds with a rooster tail of flame out the back. These are jet cars. They're fast, they're colorful, they're awesome, they're ferocious. They go 290 miles per hour. They put flame out the back. They put 4 Gs on the starting line. They put 3 Gs at the finish line. There's nothing like them in the world. Jet 20 cars, jet dragsters, all coming your way next from the Pro Jet Car Championships at Raceway Park, Eliztown, New Jersey.
The body on this car is constructed of Kevlar and carbon fiber. The reason for that is to make it not only lightweight, but strong also. The car was designed by Kenny Youngblood of California, and the car was painted by Bob Gertis of Circus Paints in New Jersey. The frame of this car is constructed of 4130 chrome moly tubing. It is various thicknesses and OD sizes. The engine is out of an F-5 fighter plane. It's capable of speeds in an airplane of excess of Mach 2. On the ground, we can probably run in excess of 300 miles an hour, but the sanctioned bodies, both NHRA and IHRA, have restricted this car to only 290 miles an hour. Jet cars are probably the most awesome racing vehicle in the world. Why? Because not only do they run fast and quick, they put 40 feet of fire out the back. Most people have never seen the inside of a jet funny car. We're going to show you what the inside of one of these cars look like. You can see these cars don't weigh much because the body is made of carbon fiber. We're going to show you what the front of this car looks like right here. It's starting out with the fire bottle. Fire bottle and the batteries are mounted to the front to apply weight on the car so that it won't do wheel stands. Also in the front are the 4-wheel disc brakes. The fuel tank contains 30 gallons of kerosene. It's made of aluminum. These cars are made of a lot of aluminum and magnesium and titanium parts because these cars are trying to be not only fast and quick, we're trying to make them as light as we can make them. Also here in the front, you'll see the fuel control. That is like the carburetor on a regular car. In the front part here is the compressor part of the engine. The little box there on the side is the igniter box. That's what starts this vehicle. Then it goes back into the combustion can, the turbine wheel, the afterburner, and the tailpipe. That's the parachutes mounted here in the back. The afterburner is the part of the car that makes the car not only fast and quick, but also provides the show. When you see the fire come out the back of these cars, it's because of these engines are spraying fuel into this part of the vehicle. This is the cockpit of my race car. The car is equipped with a 6-point roll bar and a 5-point seat belt safety harness. We have the throttle here, which is used to start the vehicle. To make the fire and smoke, we have the afterburner control switch. We have the main parachute lever mounted here. We have the secondary parachute lever mounted here. We have a streak switch which lights the afterburner here. A bleed door switch which shuts part of the air off that bleeds off the engine. This is the tachometer. We have the EGT gauge mounted here. We have the fire system right here. In case of a fire, we can put the fire out. We have a switch here, which is the igniter button. Also on the steering wheel, we have the streak button, which lights the afterburner, and another button which turns on the high-pressure fuel system. That's what makes the awesome fire show. As you look forward, you see we have the brake pedal on the left here, and then we have another pedal which I call the passing gear. As the car goes down the track, this pedal is pushed slowly forward to make the car run even faster and quicker. And there you have it, a jet funny car, the most awesome racing vehicle in the world.
Today they're running pretty good from what I can tell right now. The weather's beautiful, the air's cold enough, it's a really gorgeous day. The track's got plenty of
stick for them so that they can hold on the line over here, which has always been a problem with these guys with all the power that they're making now. So I think it's going to be good. The first 4 pairs that went down already were great.
And that's the sound of a jet funny car. From an aircraft to a race car, they take them from Army surplus, they put about 3 together, they make 1 race car, and we are set for round number 1. Starting off with Dickie Rosberg up against one of Roger Gustin's team cars. Look at the flame coming out of Dick Rosberg's race car. Just a taste of what's coming up as we have 3 rounds of jet car racing. Rosberg, the quickest jet car in the business. Up against Jerry Gannon, driving for Team Gustin. And right now they're going through the pre-race firefight, one of the most awesome moments in motorsports when the drivers dump raw fuel, that's kerosene, into their afterburner and light it on fire. And away they leave the starting line. And the win light goes to Rosberg, a 573 at 262. Gannon loses with a very game 583. He is the king, the quickest and fastest jet car in the country, the main event warrior driven by the man himself, Dick Rosberg. Dick, what about racing in Englishtown? Tell us about the Raceway Park facility and how it affects your race car.
Raceway Park is, sometimes the air here gets bad, sometimes it's good. Today it's very good. It's probably one of the better tracks in the United States. Up until this point right now, we've been very successful on racing this car. We've held several track records. We are right now 57-0, and we want to maintain that to get it a little higher.
A brand new car for Bob Van Sciver, a Ford Thunderbird body. Of course, the body's pretty much just a cloak. And when you look underneath, you see the jet car pilot sitting side saddle. You see the air filter, and right alongside of him is the J85, or in this case, for Mr. Evergenes, that's the Pratt & Whitney motor. And there's the tried and true Thunderbird called Running Scared. Mike Evergenes, he's been racing jet cars for 20 years. He's got a brand new ride, the 93 Camaro, looking very swoopy. And he'll be up against Van Sciver, the man who not only works at a drag strip in South Jersey, he also is part owner of a new one in North Carolina. Both cars going through the pre-race fire show, warming up the engines, lining up the load when it comes to fuel. The cars run on kerosene. Nothing too exotic. It's a cheap fuel to buy, and it makes these race cars fun to race because you can actually make a profit doing so. The old-time jet cars were exhibition cars. They made a lot of fire, made a lot of smoke, but they didn't really go too fast. And nowadays, with the Pro Jet Association, these cars have become much more safer, they're much quicker, and they're much more fun to watch race. Look at the heat waves off the race cars. They pull the chutes, the cars slow down dramatically. Actually, 3 Gs at the other end of the race course as Mike takes the win light as he goes 582 at 271.
Well, anytime you go that fast, there is some danger involved, of course. But being a thrust-powered vehicle, we don't have the traction powers that a wheel-driven car has, which goes right to left, and they're fighting it all the way down. These are like on a string. They're really easy to drive. They're nice to drive, and I feel that they're a lot safer than any wheel-driven car.
Having a 2-car team, does that help you out, Mike?
Absolutely. We're able to do a lot more experimenting where we have both cars that we can adjust on certain conditions and see whether or not it helps or hinders the performance of the car. So definitely helps when you got more than one out there.
when they actually dump the fuel in the afterburner on the starting line before the race, they're actually lighting the spark plugs in the back of the igniter, which is in back of the tailpipe. But what they're doing is they're actually lightening the load of the race car. In effect, they're making the race car lighter, which in effect makes the race car quicker. So that's what the firefight is actually used for, not just to make the fans go nuts, which it certainly does. The J85 powered car from Massachusetts up against the car from Connecticut. Al Hanna, without a doubt, with the exception of Rosberg, one of the best in the business. And it's a good start for Davidson, but here comes Al Hanna. And he takes the win light, dumping the chute top in, and goes 566 at 280 miles per hour. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The war to settle the score. The two quickest jet cars in the country. Al Hanna in lane number 2. In lane number 1, the one, the only Dick Rosberg. He had his track record taken away just a couple moments ago. They're going to go for it. And there's no doubt that these racers want to go as quick as possible. And there's no log lost between the two. Hanna and Rosberg have been fighting for the last couple years over who's the best in jet car racing. Now they have one chance between the two of them, Hanna and Rosberg, to go for it right here at Raceway Park this afternoon. May the best racer win. These jet engines are out of jet fighter planes, the T-38 trainer plane that flew over Korea. They produce 5,000 pounds of thrust, about 6,000 horsepower.
Primarily, we're putting on a show for the people and dumping the fuel for weight. Once we get the car to the point where we feel that it's light enough to make the run down the track as fast and quick as we can, we try to stage it in that window of time and make our lead.
That's what the pre-race firefight is actually all about.
That's true. It's a double-edged sword, so to speak. We're really putting on a show for the people, getting the car ready. A lot of people ask if we're warming the car up. No, we're not warming the car up, but we are dumping a lot of fuel, putting on a show, getting the car in a weight range where we feel we'll be competitive. We need a good starting line so we can stage. We can stage properly at max RPM. We're looking at close to 20,000 RPMs with these engines, and that's an awful lot of push. So when we get the cars to the starting line, we're looking for good traction, but in addition to that, we want a smooth track. If we have any kind of a bump condition and the car happens to move around a little, anything that it doesn't go from A to B straight as an arrow, costs us time.
They're out of the gate. Hanna takes an early lead. He stretches it out, and he takes the win light as he goes 564 to Rosberg's 569, the quickest side-by-side jet funny car race in history. And time is what drag racing is all about.
The difference between a jet dragster and a jet funny car is almost the same as with a top fuel dragster and with a fuel burning funny car. One has a production looking type body on it, the flip-flop type body, what we used to call floppers in the old days. And the dragster looks very similar to what a top fuel car looks like. It's a longer wheelbase. It just has some body panels on the side, whereas the funny car does resemble an actual production type vehicle.
Jet car fans, it's time for the Jet Dragsters. It's man versus woman as Tammy Gatlin from Texas takes on from Chicago, Illinois, second-generation drag racer Tony Schumacher in Wayne Canute's Odyssey. And just like we saw the Jet Funny cars a moment ago, we watched the pre-race firefight between these awesome jet machines. And there is the lady. She's a young lady. She's only 29 years old, driving Jack Caulfield's machine. And she's right now lighting the afterburner, taking on Tony Schumacher.
When he leaves the line, the driver can experience 3.5 to 4 Gs. It's fairly constant on the racetrack. And stopping, when we use our larger 28 parachute system, you can see up to 9 Gs stopping for a split second.
Jet Dragsters much different from the Jet Funny cars. First of all, they're lighter, they're more aerodynamic, and they are much quicker. They can go just up to 300 miles per hour. And there's Tony Schumacher moving up in the tower lane, this side of the camera, and there's Tammy Gatlin driving her machine out of Texas. And look at that little lady driving her jet car. The cars make so much power, the drivers have to lock up the brakes to keep them from going through the starting line. And these cars have no reversers, so once they go through the beams, they are done. And away goes Tammy Gatlin. Problems on Tony Schumacher's car. And there's Tammy. She'll take the win light, and she's got a big smile on her face. Look at the twin chutes slow the car down, and look at the fire coming out of the back of Tony Schumacher's car. I've never seen this before with a jet car. It's like a fuel funny car. He dumps the chutes out. The chutes are on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw was a flame out, and you see Tony Schumacher getting out of his race car. He's okay, but he'll take a look back and see some of the damage on the race car. Tony, there's a lot to do in this race car. What is it like on the starting line?
Oh, it's a tremendous feeling. You got the crowd, everyone's cheering you on. You're looking at the guy next to you, he's shooting fire out the back of a car, and there's loud thunder. There's a tremendous amount to do, and you just got to try to maintain your concentration. You're hitting afterburners, you got fireballs coming out, and there's so much to do that you need to make sure you don't get distracted.
Tony, was it hard to adjust to the thrill of a jet dragster, the speed, the acceleration?
Well, it takes a little while to learn when to pull the parachute. You're going awful fast, and the track's moving real fast. It's not hard to adjust to the ride. It's a real smooth ride. Tends to go straight. When you get out of shape, you got to shut it down. There's no correcting these cars. I'd say it wasn't as difficult as it was going into, say, for instance, if I went into a fuel car where there's actual clutches and pedals. This is a little easier, but it's definitely a handful. It's a real nice ride.
There are many technological advances in jet car racing. Probably the primary one is the use of data acquisition systems, which most people commonly call a computer. So number one, it helps you on the tune-up. You can see how much tailpipe pressure is being made, which is probably one of the primary indicators of the tune-up level. The other thing is if you do have a problem that you have to troubleshoot, it'll tell you right where to go and start looking instead of just changing parts. What this enables us to do is look at engine RPM, temperature, half a dozen pressures, half a dozen different air temperatures, all at 100 samples per second. And with this information, knowledge is power, somebody once said, and this is how we're going to get these into the force. Obviously, it's a dangerous sport, but not unduly so. If there wasn't an element of risk involved in this, everybody'd be out doing something else. They wouldn't be here to watch. I mean, what we're trying to do is control that risk. That's our job as builders and fabricators. I think the fans like two things, the spectacle, the speed, and actually that everybody's into three things, and the competition. Every single one of these guys is out here to beat the other guy, no question about it. And I mean, our egos need gratification much like anyone else's, and nothing does me better than to see that kid come to the lights first.
I enjoy it. Project Butterflies, just respect the car, but you don't seem to think about much once the car starts running. You're thinking about the car and your run. I do a fire show with the engine at a lower percentage, and then I bring the engine up and do the bangs and the pops, and then I bring the engine up to where I want to stage it. I leave at like 105%, 125%, whatever the track will hold. And then as the last person stages, then I put it in smoke, and when I see yellow, I light it and go. When I pull the chute at the top in, it jerks me real hard. I lose my vision for a moment, and then I pick my head back up, and I start applying the brake.
So why do you do it?
Because it's fun. It's a rush.
5 for low ET. He just misses the track record. Unbelievable 5-second run. Let's hear it for Dickie Rosberg in the main event warrior. Check it out, 605, 268 miles an hour, unbelievable. Second quickest run, 275, and the Dutchmans are in the semifinals. Unbelievable!
I think night racing's 100 times more exciting than racing of the day, both for the spectators and the drivers. I mean, you can't see as well at night maybe, but you see what you need to see, and that's about all you see day or night driving one of these cars.
277 miles an hour. Smith goes 553, and based on what I know about Phil Smith's race car, he might have had a flame out.
The modern-day jet funny car design from Kenny Youngblood of California, the premier designer when it comes to jet car paint schemes. The execution by Bob Gertis of Farmingdale, New Jersey, one of the best in the business, who's been painting race cars for over 25 years. And these cars are beautiful examples of the modern-day jet funny car. As right now, Davidson starts to warm up his engine. Pat Davidson, a new driver in the circuit. He's got a beautiful race car, but he's got one of the toughest customers, Bob Van Sciver, driving the Running Scared race car. And he's not kidding about that logo, Running Scared. And there's that beautiful circus-painted Thunderbird ready to roll up to the Raceway Park concrete starting pad. Take a look at the inside of a jet funny car. It looks like a plumbing store. All the tubes, all the wires hooked up for one purpose, to make a jet car go from 0 to 285 miles per hour in less than 6 seconds. And right now they're going through the pre-race firefight, one of the most awesome moments in motorsports, when the drivers dump raw fuel, that's kerosene, into their afterburner and light it on fire. Look at the fire. You see the driver checking out the tailpipe, making sure there's enough flame coming out the back. Moving up in Bob Van Sciver's race car to the starting line, you see him lining up the race car into the hot groove, trying to get the car stuck to the Raceway Park concrete starting pad. Cars are restricted to go over 295 miles per hour. That's the insurance rules right now. Track operator, track owner, and jet car pilot, Bob Van Sciver. Why jet cars, Bob?
Well, because they're fascinating, the crowd loves them, and they're fun things to drive.
Bobby, do you think the jet car class could someday be a professional class like Super Comp or Pro Stock or Top Fuel?
I think it has the capability of being every bit of a professional pass right now. You know, with the likes of Al Hanna and Dick Rosberg and Roger Gustin and teams like that. Everybody's stepping up and everybody's doing it safely.
Now, you're teamed up with Dick Rosberg. Where did that association come from?
I bought Dick Rosberg's car back in 1985, and he helped me, and he's my mechanic and my mentor.
He's the tuner?
Yeah, he's the tuner.
And what does it take to tune a jet car in between rounds?
A lot of knowledge and a lot of time. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time, but we do the best we can do.
Do pretty well, I'd say. Now, tell us about your experiences in jet cars. Any scary experiences you could talk about sometimes when things were not going right?
Well, we've had a couple of times when the parachute didn't come out, and one time we ran off the track in St. Louis, and fortunately the car was okay and there was no injuries.
You've ever been scared?
I'm scared every time I drive it.
Rosberg getting ready. You see the fire coming out the back. The main event warrior, a beautiful 1990 Chevrolet Beretta, and he'll be taking on the brand new 93 Camaro of Mr. Mike Evagines, another veteran of the Jet Jockey Wars at Raceway Park. He's been doing this for over 20 years. And once again, that pre-race firefight is in process. They're just about ready to stage up. The starter in the middle will flip the switch for the electronic timer. A 0.4 of a second blink of the Christmas tree, and look at all the smoke. Unbelievable sight of power. Raceway Park track manager, Michael Knapp.
We like to run the jets. They dazzle the crowd. We have a #1 facility. We can handle a lot of people. We've got a long track. We're able to really run a bunch of cars full out here, so we like to do it.
Michael, do you think there'll ever be a professional jet car class?
Well, I think the cars are of the caliber that they can handle it. It's a matter of them, like I said, making their niche out there. The cars are extremely professional. They're exciting to watch. That's half the reason why we're here. Half the reason is competition. The other half is to be jazzed by the cars. And I think the jet cars have that ability to do that for people. And, given the time, I think they can put it together and make a class out of it, sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for the second round of the Pro Jet Sprint Car Championships. There's Jerry Gannon driving for Team Gustin, and once again, one of the quickest cars in the country, the swoopy Eastern Raider of Al and Ellen Hanna. The Jet Funny car is so much different than the Fuel Funny car. This car gets pushed down the racetrack, whereas the Nitro Burning Funny car gets driven down the racetrack, the horsepower coming through the rear wheels. There's Raceway Park for Tom Resco, the man who wears the asbestos underwear. He gives them the signal to light these bad boys up. They plug in the batteries, they start the engines, and in a few moments the bodies will come down. Go! First you see the smoke, then you see the fire. If you look closely, you see that the window was blown out of Jerry Gannon's race car in round number 1, and they replaced it using some duct tape and some extra Lexan, and the car is ready to roll here in round number 2. Just a couple moments before round number 2 action here at the Pro Jet Spring Funny Car Championship continues. It's Team Gustin, Jerry Gannon, the driver, trying to find the right spot on the race course as he lines up his machine, that beautiful Chevrolet Camaro. As you look inside the race car, you see all the plumbing, all the hardware that it takes a jet car engine to produce all that horsepower. And there's Al Hanna's race car. It's swoopy, it's all business, and this is one of the most high-tech race cars ever built for jet car racing. So it's Gannon against Hanna. The first man to leave the starting line has a good chance of winning this one. We'll look for the hole shot. As they roll up, they use the brake, they use the thrust out of the back of the pipe, and we're just about set. The stage lights are on, a blink of the tree. And here they come. Off the mark first, it's Hanna. Once again, Al Hanna taking no prisoners. 572 at 283. And Gannon loses with a 595 at 265. Jet Dragsters getting ready to go once again here at Raceway Park. Jet Dragsters quite different than their cousins, the Top Fuel Dragster. Just like the Jet Funny cars before, the Top Fuel Dragsters have engines that produce the horsepower through the rear end, whereas the Jet Dragsters get pushed down the racetrack by the thrust coming out of the tailpipe. Rod Phelps in the black car from Buffalo, New York. His machine about as low and lean as you can get, up against the Lutz racing car from Chicago. In this jet car battle, the fire coming out the back, it is incredible. The amount of flame, it's about 30 feet long. And you see the driver working on the hand controls, pouring the raw fuel in the afterburner. And this is a good example of how it's done in a jet dragster. getting his car ready. The fire coming out the back. You see the heat flames, the heat waves. It is amazing, the horsepower. And right now we have a problem on the Lutz race car. Tom Resco, the Raceway Park starter, looking underneath the car. You see the crew pointing out some problems, and there's a broken fuel line on the machine, so we'll have to turn off the damn Yankee car. The Lutz racing machine is shut off. We'll have to wait on the starting line, so Rod Phelps will go by himself. He will get a single. The starting line nice and straight. That's what you want to do in drag racing, from the starting line to the finish line as quick as possible. He goes 578, and there is the Lutz machine. This is it, the final round here at the Spring Pro Jet Car Championships, and Roger Gustin has got to be a happy man. Both of his race cars are in the final. Jerry Gannon and Mike Evagene. Mike driving the 93 Camaro, you see, up against Jerry Gannon driving the 1992 Camaro. The new car looking good with Mike Evagene at the helm. This is it, the overall championship, and Roger Gustin's both cars, powered by the Pratt & Whitney motor, are in the final. Close-up look of Gannon. They're just about ready to go. The car's approaching and starting to lead. The white Camaro is the 93 rear lane. The far lane, the 92. Evagene against Gannon. This is going to be a good one. Both cars capable of running in the 580s. The smoke is coming out. Evagene's with a slight lead, but here comes Gannon, and Gannon makes the move at top end and takes the win light with a 583 at 274. Evagene's loses with a quicker 581. We're with team manager Bill Gustin. Bill, you just got off the phone with Roger Gustin in Ohio. How did he take the good news that both your cars are in the final?
Well, after the wreck he had last year, he's still on the mend, and I think his bones just healed tremendously from this. We told him first we blew the windshield out of one car. I kind of tore him up, and then there was dead silence, and he said, well, then what happened? So, well, then we ended up both our cars in the final. And he was still in shock over it, because the car that won has usually been our slower car. In fact, the car that won has been beat by the other car so many times it's ridiculous. But we finally got the old car running good, and that was the main thing. And Jerry did a tremendous job with it. Tremendous.
Jerry put him out, cut a great light, and that's all it takes.
That's why we call him Jerry Boom Boom Gannon.
Well, Boom Boom came up with the #1 spot at Raceway Park today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Les.